Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be building a stand for this little log splitter here from Harbor Freight. It's the 5-ton electric log splitter. It's a pretty good log splitter. Just a little update for those of you that watch the channel regularly. Basically, I just want to build a stand that will hold this thing while I work with it and split a lot of wood. And the biggest problem I'm having is just that my back gets really tired leaning over working with this thing. So the goal is to build, like I said, a stand for this thing. What I'd like to do is just put a little rack on the back side of it because I have a lot of wood that falls off the back side after I split it. So I want something there to catch the larger pieces of wood that need split again while I'm splitting the other half. So from the back of the wheel, which I probably don't need to go back that far, to the front of this thing is about 37 inches. Yeah, we could call it good at 37 inches. So 37 from front to back. Those are spaced about 10 inches apart. So we're gonna have the top of this thing running about 37 by 10. So part of the reason why I'd like to get this project done is I've just got so much angle iron around in here, taking up space in the shop, that there's just not many other projects I can see myself using it for. It's all stuff that's around 1/8 inch or thinner, maybe 1/8 inch to 14 gauge. A lot of old bed rails that I've saved. Hopefully I've got enough here. I think I should. I definitely don't want to purchase any material for this. All right, we're going to start with this and build the platform that the log splitter is going to sit on. All right, coming over here to the dark corner of the shop. It's real expensive to wire one of these things up. Don't know if you've seen the price of wire lately. Anyway, onto this project. It's been a little while since I've used the Hercules saw. If anybody's wondering if I regret getting rid of the Milwaukee over this thing, I have not. I like the Hercules better than the Milwaukee still to this day. Still happy with that decision. I'm using the abrasive chop saw tonight just because I don't want to burn up the blade on my nice Evolution saw on a project like this that may or may not end up in the scrap yard in, just a few years. All right, watch this. We're going to finish this cut real quick. All right, that ought to do it. So most of the time when I do this kind of box fabricating, I cut miters and everything. I just think they look a little bit nicer. This is pretty much all just function. That's all I'm looking for here. For example, we got, these sides hanging up just a little bit higher from sitting on top here. It's not, definitely not here for looks. All right, I'm gonna clean this steel up just a little bit. Probably not gonna spend too much time on it before we weld it together. I think the best way to do this is going to be to just square up one corner at a time and then weld it. Alright, that part's done. I think those welds turned out pretty nice for what they are. Holy cow, it's like it was made for it. Hey, there's even a line that I could almost use to cut. Wow, this thing fits right in here. Snug like a glove, just a random piece of scrap I pulled out of the scrap pile. Already holes for water drainage. I've just got to cut it to fit in there, and then I'm good. If you occasionally fabricate, you don't have a speed square handy, you are doing yourself a disservice. Oh my goodness, that was just too easy. Kind of heavy. I definitely want this thing to have a little weight, but not too much weight. Right, so I've got this clamp on here to hopefully save me a little bit of time in cutting. And I cut these 3 pieces at the length that I need them all at one time, except I'm gonna have to move one of my clamps, dang it. I originally really wanted a nice clean look here with these legs coming out at kind of an angle, if that makes sense. I just don't know that I'm going to be able to figure out a way to do that very nicely. So I think what I'm just kind of left with is welding these legs on straight, and then I'm going to have to, I've got so much angle iron here, it might be a good use of it. So I'm thinking I'll just, you know, weld these legs up here. I know that the camera's pretty low, so I'll weld them up and then just put, you know, a cross beam, 2 legs here. Something that kind of spreads the weight out and makes it a little more stable going across. Alright, so I've got about 6 inches sticking off this side for stability, and then I've got about, what, 15 and a half sticking off this side for stability, because I'm going to have a rack that comes off the bottom a little ways that'll provide some stability for. I think I'll go about 12 inches. I'm not too sure. That might be a little bit shorter than I want to go. I just don't really have a lot of room to build anything too much bigger. This spacing should be about 10 and a half still. It's about 10 and 7/16, so close enough for me. I would not be surprised if my head's in the way for some of these, so I apologize in advance. About 17. I'm on to building the rack now. The stand is pretty much complete on its own. All right, there we go. That is the stand right there. Next time you see it, I'll probably have it out in the backyard with the log splitter on top of it. All right, guys, I'm gonna split a little bit of kindling here. So that was a little pine. This is a little aspen. Alright guys, I spent about a half hour on this thing today, maybe a little bit more, running the log splitter here on the stand. And I figured a few things maybe I'd like to change about it, and figured a few things I liked about it. So the few things I'd like to change, just one thing being that I'd like to put some sort of like sacrificial wood on the bottom of the steel feet, I guess you could call them. that just kind of keep this stand stable, because I don't want the metal getting all rusty and everything. So, you know, we'll put a piece of wood in between the metal and the ground and let the wood be the sacrificial piece. Another thing is that I don't know if I'm going to actually make any changes to this, but the rack that I built there on the back, it's definitely handy. I'm glad it's there. I wouldn't like remove it, but for what I wanted it to do, it doesn't do the job very well. I think it probably needed to stick out another half a foot at the bare minimum, and it also needed to extend out further away from the log splitter itself, because most of those logs are being pushed past that splitting wedge, and then that's when they're falling, and basically they're just falling off and hitting the kind of edge of the rack there and then falling on the ground, which I did consider when I was building this thing, but I just thought I did not want to spend a bunch of time building around, you know, the outside. It'd end up getting too heavy, it'd be too awkward to move and everything like that. I thought it would work. It works a little bit worse even than I anticipated, but you know, it's still nice to have. You can see I've got my kindling box here sitting on the rack, so I can fill it up nice and easy. It's nice for that. The stand itself, getting the log splitter up off the ground, I'm about 6 foot tall. It's probably a little bit taller for everybody else in my family that would use it, but I definitely like the height. I could run this thing all day. My back doesn't get tired running it. I really like the stand overall. Pretty happy with it. I'm going to paint it here pretty soon. I'll clean up all the flux on all the welds and get it ready for some paint and slap a little paint on it, so get a little bit of weather protection on it. So if you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.